Welcome to KSP Beta 0.90 with mods. So, after having to deal with Moonshot 3's disaster, which I had to hack my persistence file to fix, and the mission scrub on the last video I did, in which I almost cost 5 Kerbals their lives because I ran out of electricity because of the moon shadow, I came up with the most ingenious solution. It's called a fuel cell. If I can find it. It's right here. Now, because I don't have the ability to do action groups, like really cool nifty action groups, I mean, I could hack an action group to do this. In fact, you know what? Let's do that. Let's do this to say brakes, hold toggle to fuel cell. So I can generate electricity. So you don't get the ability to do more action groups until another piece of the space complex has been upgraded. I can't remember what that is off the top of my head, but that's okay. We can kind of make it work. So Jebediah, you're our man for this mission. Let's go. We're going to go to Minmus, we're going to land, we're going to do some EVA spammage, we're going to do some surface samples, because I did unlock the technology to do that. And I think all I got to do now is actually accept the mission. So let's do that first, before we fly. Explore Minmus. Yep. Plant a flag on Minmus. Sure. Visual survey of Minmus? Sure, that shouldn't be too hard to do. Magnetometer laser surface and mystery observations. I might actually have that equipment on board my spacecraft. So let's go ahead and check that. If I can do all of those missions at once, that'd be great. If not, then I'll have to come back. But Minmus isn't that hard to get to. So what do we got on our spacecraft? I have a mystery goo container. Check. I got an orbital telescope. Check. I got a magnetometer. Check. And I have a science junior. Check it. Check. Check. So let's do all this stuff. Get going! Throttle back because of the awesomeness of having 5 of these 300 kilonewton engines at once. Well, 276 now. So the solar panels are intended to provide the primary source of power for the spacecraft while in flight, but when I'm in shadow, I have the fuel cell as a backup. The fuel cell is not supposed to be a primary, although I can just toggle the brakes to turn them on and off. Here it is right now, so it's... Now it's... Oh, I gotta hold it. Oh, okay, well that's easy. I can just see it right there. Perfect. That's a bit hot. Explosions! I hear explosions are good for YouTube ratings, but I'm not sure. Just kind of putting our way up past 10,000 meters. And then we'll go not quite full throttle. Ease our way over. Pretty basic, generic gravity turn that everyone's seen a million times. So anyway, let's talk game difficulty here. I think the game is... the way we approach the early stages of the career has changed significantly. Maintain prograde, Jeb. Roger that, dude. It's almost like having McJeb on your spacecraft. It's great. The early career is significantly different than how it used to be, but once you start getting Tier 2 buildings put into your space complex, the game feels more familiar, I guess. In that you want to do contracts that get money, that get you science, because once you have Tier 2 stuff, you're not really worried about all those nifty difficulties. Kaboom! Kabooms are good for ratings. So once you start getting your enough for that seed money started to do building upgrades, the game gets quite a bit simpler. Well, more familiar. It's just getting that cash up front that's the hard part. Now, 2 ways to go about doing that. 1, start the game in easy mode. You'll have lots of money to throw at everything, and basically you won't have to worry about half the things that I've had to deal with here. The other issue, or other technique, is to do a custom difficulty and move one of the starter fund sliders all the way to the right and have all the starter cash in the world you could want. It feels a bit cheaty for me, but for some people that's an option. Let's maintain just regular prograde or a regular stability assist. Because I like seeing the buttons here start going wiggle, 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 and like flipping out and stuff, and you know, it doesn't sit well with me. Boing, boing. Watch me shatter my rocket. Wouldn't that be great? Let's go to 15 seconds. Alright, 15 seconds. Jeb, maintain prograde. Go. Yep, there we go. And about to hit X, kill my engines. I'll just ease out of it like that. There we go. And that's orbit. Okay. Minmus, where you at? I like how you don't have to actually select the target, you can select the orbit. That works. Okay, I need to go this way. Right? Yes. That. Kinda, sort of, maybe. Alright, that'll work. And once I can tell him to maintain the direction of the maneuver, that'd be great. Just hit a button and watch him do it. Although really it's pretty much anti-normal. But we'll just tell him to maintain the heading. Speaking of electricity, I was watching Robert Nation's episode on trying to get some contracts done for the moon, and he ran into a problem of running out of electricity for his orbiter, so he couldn't use flywheel torque to spin himself around to do a retrograde burn where he wanted it to be. KSC is where the red dot is since I have remote tech installed. So I ended up putting it down somewhere, I don't know, over here or so. So basically I had to wait for the spacecraft to orient itself. Oh, hello, I just missed my maneuver. Do it. Let's eyeball it. Close enough. So one of the things he had on the spacecraft was no electricity, but he did have a viable LV-901 engine and he had fuel for it. So one of the things that I've found that I've been able to do with a spacecraft that doesn't have flywheel torque, like a probe, a state punt neck to be precise, is to simply burp the engine a little bit while having it heeled over in one of the directions, because it's a gimbaled engine, right? So you kind of burp the engine to impart a little bit of a spin to the spacecraft, then you kill the throttle so you don't burn up a bunch of fuel. And then when you kind of get where you need it to point, you can do the time accelerate keys as a cheater way to kill your angular momentum. And that kind of gets you where you need to be facing. Minmus is such a piddly little target. Sure. Well, that gets me a surprise moon encounter. And then my patch connect system says, nope. It doesn't know what to do with it after that. Also, once you have RCS unlocked, you have RCS propellant supplies and thrusters on your spacecraft. You don't need electricity to make use of those. As I so expertly demonstrated in my last video, unintentionally. So yeah, there are various ways to get your spacecraft to point the way you need it to point. If you have the ability to EVA, you can EVA and then push on part of your spacecraft and it'll impart a spin to the rocket. It's not much of a spin, it'll be kind of a headache to eyeball where it needs to be, but it will work. When I get to 15 seconds, we will kill the throttle, or we will punch the throttle. We'll murderize the throttle to the firewall. Go. Now when I get close to my delta V quantity, but not quite at it, I have to throttle back because these engines don't kill themselves right away. So I have to be careful not to overshoot. And careful not to hit X. Yes, I passed it just a little bit. So what I could do, because I don't have much delta V left in a stage, just say, screw it. Although maybe if I do it right here, I might end up like smashing into my spacecraft and that might be a bad idea, but good enough. And I'm just barely floating past my expended stage. So there we go. There we have it. And since I have backup solar panels, or actually my primaries would be solar panels, I have all the power I could want. So when I'm in shadow, I have to bust out this guy. But I have that brake key to do that. Alright, let's get out there. There should be Moonshot 3. An eternal testament to my folly. Tell you what, it maneuvers around pretty well now. I've lost that big old fat center booster. Yes, I'm in the shadow of the moon, since I have. Alright, so hey! Those are right there. Those are awesome. That is stupendously cool. Alright, so what's my requirement for that mission there? Oh, I got a completion for orbit around Minmus. Sweet. Alright, so I'm in the shadow of the moon, so let's hit that cheater button. And we're done. So awesome. As long as I hold down B, I have all electricity in the world I could want. And it's only there when I need it. I should relabel that to be like the easy button or something. Well, there's really not much I can see here. Let's see, crew report. That's right, I've done a flyby here once already. That's where Moonshot 3 ended up. It's odd that I don't get credit for it again. I don't know. So anyway, that wraps it up. When we come back, we will do some of these mission requirements planting the flag, doing some flybys, and some other fun stuff. And that will be it. Thanks for watching.